Hello, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here and continuing to listen to my story. I really appreciate you guys. Um, so in the last episode, I was talking about myself and Walter. Things had gotten better. He had come back again. Spent some time together, and we had planned on going to the movies for Memorial Day weekend. And there was more communication also because our communication was not consistent. Um, we may text like in the morning, good morning, or something like that, have a good day, or at night, have a great night, or something. Um, but we may talk just like once a week and then see each other like on a weekend or something like that. But it wasn't consistent. And I know part of that really bothered me. So, um, coming up now on Memorial Day weekend, and in the last one too, I had said about things were starting to escalate with Patty at work. It got so bad that my office was right next to the bathroom. So her office was two offices away, and she was just super loud, was constantly cursing like the F word, um, which in office settings these days is not a big thing, but it was constant, and I can like she was two offices away and I can like just hear her constantly dropping the F-bombs, on the phone, loud, like laughing hysterically, like, and our manager was across the hall. And our manager's manager, the director, was in a corner office and she just didn't care. And it was kind of almost at the thing of like, let someone say something to me. I dare someone to say something to me. And it's like almost like management was afraid to say something to her. And I said, like to myself, if this was where I worked on Wall Street, working for an investment firm, and we had someone like that acting that way, that person would have been like in HR so quickly, just their behavior, nothing to do with anyone else, but acting that way at the job. You don't do that kind of stuff, and I don't know, maybe I expect too much from working, at an investment firm for this person. I don't know. Anyway, I ended up just keeping my door closed um, because when she would walk by, it was kind of like these kind of smirks things that she would do, or she would get right in front of my door and do one of her hysterical laughs, like she was laughing at a conversation she just had with someone, but it was kind of like this irritating, on purpose type of thing to irritate me. And constantly like looking into my office, like seeing what I'm doing. It was just like just obsession, really. So I just started keeping my door closed. And a couple days after started doing that, my manager came over and she's like, "Is everything okay?" And like I had already told her things that had been going on. She knew. And I said, I can't, deal with, you know, that. I'm just trying to keep the peace. And she goes, "Oh, yeah, okay, I understand," like that. So she left me alone. It's funny because Patty used to keep her door closed all the time. It was no big deal. Nobody else kept their door closed unless they were like on a phone call. So that continued to go on for the next couple of weeks. So now, getting back to Walter, he had got tickets for us to go see Mission Impossible on that Friday, Memorial Day weekend, that Friday. So I was so excited. So I figured, okay, we'll probably spend the weekend together. I said to him, I said, he would have to come down and we would have to go to the movies, which was kind of not a distance, but kind of halfway between us. So I had said to him, can you come and pick me up? And then we can go to the movies from there. And then, I assume we can just go back to your place and spend a weekend, Memorial Day weekend together, hoping to do something. We had talked about going to some outlets um, up here and walking around and just kind of enjoying the weekend. So he came Friday and he kind of looked upset, and something had happened with a family member. I'm not going to really get too much of just kind of his business, but something had happened with a family member, and he seemed not to be taking it. I don't know. For me, well, more concerned. Um, we went to the movies, but it seemed to there was a cloud over now our weekend because of what had happened. It really didn't have anything to do with him per se. It would affect him later on, but um, not immediately. But there seemed to be this cloud over us now having this nice time, and we had just got back together again, and he seemed like irritated. And he was trying to be nice and, considerate and um, loving, romantic, stuff like that, even so. So he had said to me, I think Saturday, did it rain? Yeah, it rained. But he said, let's go to the outlets because we would have to drive. He said, let's go to the outlets later on this afternoon. So I said, oh, okay, fine, no big deal. So we drove. It was a nice drive. And we walked. It was kind of first time we had gone like actual like shopping together. So it was different. And how we see women in the store shopping and their husbands are kind of sitting out on a bench or in a chair or something like that. And he's not a big shopper. So it was kind of like he said, well, I'll sit out here and wait for you. So I kind of felt nice because it's like, okay, it's like one of those husbands that I'll go with you, but I really want to shop. But is every little thing is about getting to know someone. So we went back home to his house, and um, I didn't know. I didn't want to push like what we would do if we were going to extend this to Monday together or what. So Sunday, got up, had breakfast, we kind of relaxed for a little bit. And then he kind of got up and he says, oh, well, maybe we should get you home now. I was like, oh, okay. And so I packed up my stuff and he started telling me about some friends that he had that kind of weren't treating him too well, like they expected him to do something. And I said, I don't get a good feeling about that, like they're taking advantage of you. And we had talked about that. So then he drove me back home, and that was Sunday. He was supposed to do something with a family member on Monday. So I didn't bother him. And he, I think that was Monday, which was Memorial Day. And then Tuesday, I texted him. I said, how did it go? And he said, oh, I had a good time, so forth and so on. So I was like, okay, good. That was Memorial Day, day after Memorial Day. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear from him anymore. And I'm like, okay, here we go again. And like, since it was kind of our talking during the week was inconsistent, um, I said, well, wait a couple of days, maybe he'll text. Waited, because, I had initiated before. Nothing, nothing, nothing. In the meantime, at work, I had saw the head of HR, and something was telling me to talk to her. And so I said, okay, the next time I see her free, nobody around her or anything like that, um, I'm going to approach her. So probably was the following week after Memorial Day weekend. I had saw her. I was in the like pantry kitchenette thing, and she came by and she said, "Oh, hi, how are you?" So I said, "Oh, hi." And HR department was right next door. So I said, "Oh, this is my chance." So I went into her office, closed the door, and I said, like, like this is my first time talking to you, and I know you guys had talked to um, Patty previously about her sending that derogatory picture, to me, and some of the things that she had been doing. And like, but why was she able to afterwards go around to everyone? Like, once HR tells someone something, corrects them, disciplines them, they're supposed to keep it shut. Like, you don't go around telling anyone. But she went to, I don't even know if I told you guys this. She had gone around to each person on her team, including me, and said, oh, HR came to me and said that someone had said that I had done something to them, said something, and I don't know if it was you, but I just want to apologize, and I didn't mean any harm or anything like that. So when she came into my office, and I'm like, why is she doing this? Like, why are they allowing her to go around and do this campaign? And I had just heard her next door with the guy, and then another one of our team was in with him, and she was talking to them. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, you don't do that. HR tells you this is what you need to correct. That someone has said that you've done this, it doesn't leave this office. But she went around to everyone on our team and says, I'm not sure if it was you, but so I'm looking because I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So after she left, I had said, things are good, things are fine between us. And that's kind of when that lull had happened during the winter when I was dealing with the Kate's situation. But then things started to escalate again. So now I'm in office with the HR head, and I said, why was she allowed to go around to everyone and kind of like state something that happened? And she goes, she did? And I said, yeah. I said, but I told the manager, and the manager said that that was handled. And she says, no, I had no idea about this. Like, I would have nipped that right in the bud if I would have known. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I've been dealing with this for all these months. And when I had talked to the manager, she had said, oh, there was a miscommunication with HR. And I'm like, what? Mm-mm. Something fishy is going on here, you know? And HR, she was like, lady, she was like really upset. She's like, I did not know about this at all. And so her and I had a really good conversation and stuff. And in the meantime, I'm getting these kind of intuitive hits like it's time to leave. It's time to leave. So now we're coming into early June, right? Because we just had Memorial Day and it's early June, and I'm getting these intuitive hits in that first week to say it's time to leave the job. Because now I didn't know who to trust either. And um, the following week, um, I was supposed to have a one-on-one with my manager. And just before the time that I was supposed to go into her office, I hit an email, hit the send email for my letter of resignation. And then I went into her office and sat down and said, yes, I'm going to resign. Gonna leave it there, and I will see you in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you later.